One of the hardest things about being a creator is when your inspirations do something that disappoints you. It makes you wonder if it was right to look up to them and why you followed them in the first place. From the video's title, some of you could probably guess I was a big fan of the reviewer, the mysterious Mr. Enter, and I already know what I'm talking about today. For those that don't, Mr. Enter is a reviewer on YouTube that focuses on animated media. He used to be mainly known for his reviews of SpongeBob, but has talked about other animated series such as Family Guy, Samurai Jack, Gravity Falls, and Fairly Odd Parents, just to name a few. He's also known for controversy, such as his fans attacking the writers of episodes he's complained about on Twitter. For the record, he's never told any fan to attack the creators of anything he dislikes. However, his latest controversy is something I can't overlook. For anyone still unaware of what this video is about, Mr. Enter recently reviewed the Pixar film Turning Red, the film about a middle school girl that could turn into a giant red panda. The film has received reviews from both sides, either praising or hating it. Since Enter only reviews things he dislikes now, I figured I'd hear the same complaints other people have made about it. However, I wasn't expecting him to say this. It's the one thing I can't defend him on.
This film takes place less than a year after the September 11th terrorist attacks. I bring this up because it radically altered the culture of the time, in ways that make this movie feel exceptionally ignorant of the time. Even though, literally, the only reason I can comprehend that this movie is set explicitly in 2002 is because the director grew up in that exact year. Yes, this film takes place in Canada, not the United States, but all over the Western world. Canada, America, the UK, much of Europe. People were paranoid because 9/11 wasn't the only terror attack that had happened. It was the major theme of the decade. I mean, I can understand not wanting everyone to be so fearful, as that goes against the tone that the movie is trying to establish. But then you have very awkward moments if you actually were there and you do actually remember the time period.
That's right. His biggest problem with this film is that it takes place in a post 9/11 world, and to him, the people don't act like it. It's honestly the worst take I ever heard a critic make, and I also feel like using the term critic to describe him is also insulting to actual critics who don't have a horrible take like this. So why is it such a bad take? The problem I have with it is he's choosing this as one of the things that makes this film bad. Let's play devil's advocate and say he's right about this argument. If we do that, we should talk about every piece of media created post 9/11. I'm going to pick a series he praised to look at this argument, which is Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls is one of the most popular shows created by Disney, and a series he gave a positive review to at one time. However, in a post 9/11 world, shouldn't he complain about how the only two cops in town are incompetent?
Reckon we should report that.
Or go for a ride in our new convertible.
Or complain about Grunkle Stan ignoring how Dipper and Mabel were doing dangerous stuff, making you wonder why their parents sent them to stay in Gravity Falls?
That seems like the kind of thing a responsible parent wouldn't want you doing. Good thing I'm an uncle.
Keep in mind that I'm not making these complaints. I do love Gravity Falls and think it's a great show. However, if Enter is going to make this argument, he can't just do it to anything he dislikes. You can't pick and choose what series gets this treatment. You either believe it's something every series should do now, or you don't. To be honest, I'm not even sure if he believes this argument. I mean, why is it only now he thinks this should be a thing? I use Gravity Falls as an example of using this argument, but I'm sure there are many more things he could have used this to make his point. Instead, it comes off more as him wanting to be controversial so people will talk about him. But maybe I'm wrong, so I'll ask this. Since Mr. Enter is the writer, how would he have written this movie to reflect on how the world changed after 9/11? The one thing I'll say when complaining about a movie or series is that I'll at least come up with a way to fix issues I point out. For example, I dedicated part of my How I Would Write a Star vs. Force of Evil continuation to fix my problems with the series, like how Star instantly forgave Moon in the finale. So I'm sure Mr. Enter can write how he could fix this problem and hopefully be better than the animated series he tried to create, which failed horribly. Overall, it's just sad watching him turn into this. Despite what I currently think of him, he was someone I looked at for inspiration. I'm not saying I never disagreed with him on things. However, this is the one time I can't say that I at least see his argument. I don't, and I don't know how anyone else can. Mr. Enter will always be someone I looked up to for inspiration. There are still things that I agree with him on, and I won't act like I never liked him. Either way, you shouldn't be ashamed for liking someone who did something idiotic. You're not that person, and I never wanted to be the next Mr. Enter. I may have looked up to him, but I always plan on being myself when making content. If anything, this proved it's better to be yourself than the person you looked up to at one point. because you never know if you'll always look up to them in the future. So as I was writing this script, I found out someone made a video of what Turning Red would be like if Mr. Enter was the director. So for anyone else curious, this is how it might have looked.
Turn on the TV, they hit the Pentagon! They hit the fucking Pentagon!
Not going to lie, I probably laughed harder than I should have when I watched that for the first time. The link to that video will be in the description for anyone interested. As always, now I turn the conversation to you. What do you think of Mr. Enter's critique on Turning Red? Do you think it's a legitimate criticism, or something that makes zero sense? Let me know in the comments. Unlike him, I'll leave my comment section open for this video. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe if you're new to my channel. I'm Marco Strange, but not as strange as Mr. Enter's horrible takes.